All right, let's check in on the top business story of the day. Jameson Burko joins us from BNN Bloomberg. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so take us through what we're talking about today. BNN Bloomberg reporting last week that a major alcohol company is looking for a partner in the Canadian cannabis industry. So how did the market react to this news?
With a huge amount of vigor and excitement, it would seem. Which is interesting because it's not like the first alcohol company to jump into this fray. And we're talking about Diageo, to be specific, and of course the maker of Canadian Crown Royal and Guinness and Smirnoff and, you know, tons of spirits. And not so much in, say, the beer space like Constellation Brands and Corona that's tied up with Canopy Growth now, or Molson Coors has that deal with Hydropothecary, but this is a truly global player, and it's pushed some cannabis stocks to record highs on the back of it. And we've been doing a lot of exclusive reporting on this subject and on what it means for Canadians specifically. And one of the things that we found out is just how many, say, snack food producers or confectionery companies, you know, candy makers, might be interested in deals of their own. We had one consultant say, I think Canadians would probably be shocked by the number of companies that are sniffing around this sector. Of course, when you look at the billions of dollars of potential profits that could be on the table come October, it sort of explains why. But still, lots of excitement certainly floating around the idea of cannabis edibles and drinkables right now.
So why so much excitement with this announcement as opposed to, because you said it's not the first time that we've talked about this. So
well, I think because Diageo represents this kind of global acceptance as opposed to just some North America-focused companies that are really just trying to cash in on what is what is seen at least as a North American trend. But the fact that Diageo is sniffing around certainly sends the message to a lot of investors that this is a global shift that Canada just happens to be on the forefront of, which certainly the cannabis sector has long argued. And so this really lends credence to that argument, although I should point out, and this is one of the things that we're going to be investigating today on BNN Bloomberg, is just how much credence we should give the federal government's one-year timeline. You remember they said once legalization kicks in for stuff like dried bud and oils and stuff, we'll give ourselves 1 year to get the regulations in place for edibles and drinkables and all that. But that's a self-imposed deadline, and a lot of experts say they're probably going to have to blow way past it if they want to do the proper level of consulting and due diligence and all the background work that's required to get those regulations in place. So a lot of these companies are making these bets almost based entirely on the idea that fortune favors the prepared.
Really? Well, yeah, I guess when something goes global, you know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Right?
That is pretty much the thing, especially the fact that, you know, the cannabis sector, whether it is public, whether it is illicit, doesn't really change country to country. I would speculate, I haven't checked every single country in the world, though I've been probably closer than people would suspect, that there is a cannabis trade that is global right now. And the idea that if a G7 country like Canada can bring this, what has been for over a century, a sector in the dark, and bring it out into the light, and if we can do that successfully, the idea is that other countries would be able to follow suit. And of course, if Diageo or other major corporations want to try and get a real opportunity to be among the early movers in that space, then many argue now is the time to be investing. In Canada, it's really the only place they can put their money down.
We'll be following this closely, and of course you will be as well on BNN Bloomberg. So
You
thanks
bet.
so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.